is seamless and transparent.
Okay.
And anybody who resides in Lagos or outside of the country who are qualified to adopt can apply, and we would process.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Ipaye, what are there any key requirements for prospective adoptive parents, say in Lagos State? How do you ensure that they're suitable for adoption?
Okay, so we have steps.
Yes.
You know, the first step is for them to apply, which we'll know from the application that they reside in Lagos.
Okay.
We do series of interview with them. They also do adoption counseling section. It's like educating them on what the process is all about.
What to expect.
What to expect,
that.
yes.
Okay.
Our expectations, they are what is required of them also to do. So part of what we also require from them is a birth certificate to know their age.
Okay.
If they are married couples, that means you have to tender their marriage certificates. We have to go also to their house to conduct home assessments to see how suitable the environment they're living is, how comfortable and suitable, safe. It must be safe and also must be secured as well. So we also check also what they do for a living.
Okay.
So they must be fit financially, you know, to be able to adopt a child in Lagos State, because we usually say that we don't want that child to face another form of another abuse. Another kind of abuse. So we also want to know that they are responsible citizens of the state by showing the evidence of tax as well, and that's all about what we require for them to go on with the adoption process.
Okay, so following up on that, with the information that you get from these people, say the documents they tender, are there any ways on the back end to ensure that what they're tendering is genuine, is accurate? How is there like a part of this unit that sorts that?
Okay, so for example, now they do medical checkup.
Yes.
And for that medical checkup, we refer them to General Hospital.
Okay.
So we give them a referral letter before to conduct those tests.
Yes.
Just to mention that, and also their marriage certificate for the married couples.
Yes.
We also make sure that they submit. They bring beside the original, and also make sure that
to make sure it's genuine, not something cooked up and all that. Okay, Mrs. Sahid.
Just to add to what Mrs. Waka has said, some of the documents that are submitted, some we expect that they will be notarized.
Okay.
There are some that we do verification.
Okay.
For instance, the medical certificate of fitness.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, most general hospitals now have QR codes that we can use to verify the authenticity of the report that they bring to us. And we continue to improve on the collaboration with other government agencies to ensure that whatever they're submitting to us they're valid. And currently we're undergoing the process of review of the whole adoption system in Lagos. Yes. So we've introduced new standards just to ensure that applicants are truly qualified for the process, and reduce the possibility of failed adoptions, along the line. Make sure that the families or applicants are as suitable as possible, and everything that we do is above board and can stand the test of time, because there are times when families adopt a child and eventually they need to relocate, for instance, to another country. Whatever documents or processes that they have gone through can stand any scrutiny, whether here in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. And so far, Lagos State is viewed as one of the I would say the best amongst the others in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, our team, we had team members visit different countries as part of our follow for children who have been adopted internationally. And recently, to be precise, last week in Canada, in Toronto, the agency over there was saying that they only now work with Lagos State in Nigeria.
Okay.
And that's to tell you
because
how,
of the standard.
Yes, the standard. Because everything that we had discussed, they keep saying it's not different than what we do over here. We've heard that in Toronto, we've heard that in the US, we've heard that in Spain, we've heard that in Italy just this year. And there have been other testimonies of other countries that they believe that Lagos State government is doing the best in terms of adoption and everything.
In terms of standards and all that. So, Mrs. Adebambo, I hear two terms used interchangeably.
Okay.
Adoption, fostering. What is the difference?
Adoption is a more permanent thing.
Okay.
Once the adoption order has been pronounced in the court, because the final process takes place in the family court.
Okay.
Yeah. And once that has been done, it means that that child has every right that naturally birthed child has within the family, and the parents have the same rights as if they had given birth to that child
naturally. Okay.
On the other hand, fostering is a temporary situation where they have legal guardianship, so to speak, over a child, but can be reversed. So usually children who qualify, who are placed into foster care, are children who there's a possibility that the family can be found, or there is an existing family or a known family member, but they're not fit. Yeah, due to certain circumstances, and the child is placed in foster care. But eventually, after some time, there's a possibility for fostering to be converted to adoption. So fostering is
permanent.
Yes, exactly. In the best interest of the child.
Okay, so can I just say something? So when you say permanent now, so the child now start bearing the family name for adoption.
Okay.
So for fostering, the child still bears the formal name. Yes.
Now, so I'm going to pick. You said something about the best interest of the child. So, Mrs. Adebambo, how does your unit, the adoption and fostering unit, ensure that the best interest of the child is prioritized throughout the adoption process?
Okay, so the first thing that we do because the process of adoption starts from where the family applies on the one hand, and when a child is found in Lagos State on the other hand. So there's another unit that is responsible, other units that are responsible for recommending what outcomes will be best for the child. That doesn't start with adoption.
Okay.
The first thing that the first consideration will be for the child to return to the birth family, because children, we believe, thrive better within their family's environment. Now, where that is not possible, then we will look at the possibility of the child being within maybe foster care. Yes. And if that doesn't work, if that is not a good option for the child, the last resort is adoption. And everything we do, the paramount consideration for every party along the way, whether it is the child protection unit, the family social services, the adoption unit, the family courts, the paramount interest of the child is most sacrosanct for all of us. So that's what is being considered. Yes, the family that wants to adopt is also important, but we will not fit the child into a family simply to satisfy the needs of that family.
The child comes first.
Yeah, the child comes first. The child comes first.
Okay. So how does your unit address religious and cultural considerations during the adoption process? I hope I'm not touching any.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay, so for that, it's because of what they've gone through the process.
Yes.
I don't think there's ever been a time where that will arise, and because we had not our dots, our everything, put everything, you cross the T and everything. So there has never been a situation whereby religion comes in, cultural comes, stuff like that comes in. The child comes. We want to make sure that when the child comes into the family, the child comes into a loving environment.
Okay, so are there any support systems in place for, I'm talking about post-adoption, so for the adoptive family, so what are the support systems, are there any in place?
It is interesting that this question keeps coming up very frequently in recent times. There's actually a unit, a whole unit dedicated to that service in the ministry. It's called the Human Integration Unit, and I'm sure that along the line they will also be here to give you details about how they work. So once an adoption order has been made, the court will make a pronouncement that the child will be supervised until the child is 18, and that is as required by the child rights law. So the human integration, once that the process has been completed, the details of that family and the child are transferred to the human integration unit. Now it becomes their responsibility to follow up with that child on a regular basis. Could be annually, it could be biannually, as may be required.
And give reports.
Yes, and give reports to the ministry as to the progress of the child. And then even after the child is 18, we keep the window of communication open, because there is also sometimes the need post-adoption service. For instance, some children will come back to want to seek some further information as to where they came from. Yes, we just yesterday, we had families from France and Italy come back to Nigeria to stay in touch with their roots, with their culture, and also maybe ask a few questions about possibility of
background,
getting to know about where they come from. So that is a very important aspect of the adoption process that we do not take lightly in the ministry. And there is also continuous effort to improve the services that are provided by that particular unit as well.
Okay, so it can't be all seamless and smooth. I know there was a few challenges. What are the most common challenges in this adoption and fostering unit, and how do you address them?
Yeah, I think majorly since I got to the uni, since I got posted to the uni, I noticed that a lot of clients become frustrated because the process is actually very thorough. And some people feel
it's too tedious.
It's too tedious. And I compare it to when a woman is pregnant. You go through antenatal, you go through some pain as a woman. I'm a woman. I have experienced childbirth. It's not all smooth or rosy. You must go through some difficulties, but I keep telling clients, just stay focused on the goal.
Eyes on the prize.
Yes, because at the end of the day, the end result is what matters. Yeah, and we will not cut any corners. Even if you know people, you're well connected, we won't cut corners for you, because we're talking about life. And it is a lifelong contract. It's not, there is no return policy on adoption. Once the pronouncement has been made, that's it. And that's why we take the pains to go through this process. There's something we call the bonding assessment. That is, after the child has been released into the family, the court will give a period of time, perhaps 3 months, depending on the circumstances, for the family to get used to the child and the child to get used to the family. And by the way, we do not force children who are already attained the age of reasoning. We do not force them into families. They have a right to say no. I do not want this family. So the bonding period is for them to get used to each other and to decide whether they want to proceed. There is no return policy. After adoption. So there are some times when during the bonding period, we call it failed bonding. We find that sometimes. We try to mediate and maybe counsel and all of that, but still it doesn't work. So it's not, we don't have 100% success rate on adoption, because there are people of different orientation, different cultures, different beliefs, and what have you, coming together to become one family. So you can never have 100%.
But
success rate is really
success
high.
rate. So success stories. let's be positive. Can you share a few success stories, testimonials?
Okay, so I see. I usually say that adoption is like a finished work of God. And the reason is because by the time the children are released to these parents and they come back to immediately after the bonding process, and they come back, and we just see that they just look alike and they just flow. And we just don't, we in the office also, we don't understand what exactly, it's just magical for us. And they start talking like
because
that. They've bonded. So I've seen the success story is 99.9.
And also when you, there are some children who naturally maybe they have medical challenges, they have behavioral issues and all of that. And when they get into a family setting, the changes are really very significant. Yes. And it shows us that what we do is fulfilling. And it's there are benefits to it. The child benefits, the family also benefits. So it's a win-win situation.
We can go on and on. This is actually a really interesting topic.
So can I just say something?
Every time we run out of time, it's almost 5 o'clock in a few seconds. But I must say thank you so much, Mrs. Sahid-Adebambo, Modupeola, Head Adoption and Fostering Services right here in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, and Mrs. Ipaye, Adetutu, Deputy Director, Adoption and Fostering Services. I had a great time with you, although it was really short. I wish we could go on and on. That's all for today's edition of MYSD Spectrum. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and exploration. A big thank you to Adeola Olabisi, Director of Public Affairs in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Of course, not forgetting a big thank you to our executive producer, Tayo Otonli. Big thank you to you, dear listener. The show will make a return same time next week. Do not forget, until next time, keep shining your light and making a difference in your community. I'm Akan, Usen, your host, saying goodbye for now.